I was, yes, I was. Hi, hi. So, yeah, I love that my talk is right after Justin's because he talks about a bunch of stuff that I could talk about. I'm probably not going to, but it's a lot of stuff about After Effects too. So, hi, I'm Nai, and I am going to talk to you guys about making some neat animations with After Effects. And the reason I'm doing this, After Effects is a an industry standard application for VFX and film, but it can also be used for a lot of stuff that visual novel developers care about. So I thought I would bring it here and show some people how to do it. So yeah, so I'm talking to you from the DevTalk HQ, and if you guys don't know me, I am Nai, and yeah, I am no one important. Yay! No. So I will preface this with I am not a visual artist at all. I'm a programmer primarily. So most of the stuff that I'm going to show you is going to be programmer art, but it will illustrate how people with actual artistic skills can make some really cool stuff, and even anyone can make some neat stuff with After Effects. So yeah, yeah. Yeah. So let's see. No audio on the confetti. Yes, I am aware. I can't do anything about it. So thanks for letting me know. Woo. So yeah. So why don't we okay, so why don't we get started. So I will show you what we're going to try to do today. So boop boop. Get out of the way. Haha, there we go. So yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a click to continue icon. A lot of you are probably familiar with this. You've played visual novels before. These sorts of things will tell you that, hey, you need to click on something to advance the game. So we're going to make something like this. Pretty simple. I'm probably not going to do all of the effects that you see here because I've only got like 20 minutes, but I'm going to cover some of the basic stuff for it. So first off, this is After Effects, and if it looks a little intimidating, you're right, it is. But that's kind of why I'm doing this. It's actually pretty simple to do, and you can actually use all of the outputs from After Effects in RenPy or Unity or whatever it is you're using, because it's got a lot of different outputs. So yeah, why don't we get started? So first off, in After Effects, I'm going to go over to this little project window over here, and I'm going to create a new composition, and that's where we're going to start. It all starts with compositions, so we're going to name this click to continue because we're good at naming things. Right, artists? We're good at naming layers. To continue for VNConf. Yeah. All right, so we're going to set a couple things up. A lot of click to continue icons are probably pretty small, but for the sake of you guys being able to see what I'm doing, I'm going to keep it at a nice 512 by 512, so we're going to stick it there. We're going to make the frame rate 15. This is the default for a lot of projects, so that's fine. And then we're going to make a start duration of 1 second, so we're going to keep it there, real nice and simple. So, all right. Ta-da! We've got a nice new little project to work with. So how are we going to get started here, though? A lot of people will use different kinds of things to illustrate motion to do this, and that's kind of what we're going to do. Of course, you could do like books, turning pages, or you could do hand-drawn frame by frame, but we're gonna do this instead. So you can use this to create all kinds of different visual effects. And I thought this would be a good illustration for it. So I'm going to take my pen tool, it's a little tool here at the top, and then I'm going to draw a shape. And I think I'm going to go with the triangle just because, for time's sake, it's a lot easier for me to just draw and get through. So, I'm going to draw a point on here and then mess it up. There we go. So my first point is up here. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to draw an arrow with it, kind of. That's another line. And as I start creating the shape, it should start filling in for us. There we go. So we have a nice little arrow here. And I'm going to complete the shape by clicking the last one. And there, I've got a nice little arrow pointing to the right. So, okay. And now, so we want to make this arrow kind of point to the right and let people know, hey, there's something going on over here. Why don't you interact with me? Why don't you click on something? So by giving it some feeling of motion, by giving it multiple arrows, we're going to create that effect for us. So what we're going to do here, we're going to copy the shape layer at the bottom here. This little section of After Effects allows us to see all the little components. This is kind of like the layer screen in most of your artistic programs. So you can just straight up copy a layer here and then paste it again to duplicate it. Real easy. I did a Control C and Control V. Even you writers are familiar with that one. So, okay. And we're going to go to Transform. And Transform, for most of the programmers in the room, you guys know what this is. This allows you to kind of define the shape and space of the thing that we're working with. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to actually take this shape layer, move it toward the bottom so that it stacks underneath the other one. And we're going to change the X and Y value a little bit to move it to the right. Right there. All right, cool. So that's one. And why don't we do it one more time? Just want to copy it one more time. We're going to take this and drag it down so that it's underneath that one as well. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to move that over to the right. There we go. Now we got 3 little happy arrows. Now this is not animated. I know you're saying that, so I'm like, yeah. So we should probably animate that. So for those of you who use animation tools, or maybe you're in a game engine where it has animation tools built into it, but After Effects works primarily off of keyframes. Keyframes, for those of you who don't know, are basically points in time where different variables are set. If those words didn't mean anything to you, just think of them as a point in time where things happen. Yeah. And After Effects will take those keyframes that you create and kind of interpole between them so that you can smoothly transition between one state to another. So we're going to do that first. So we're going to start with just one arrow. So we're going to set up a keyframe for the opacity. If you want to make keyframes for any particular attribute in After Effects, you just click this little stopwatch and it will create a nice little keyframe that is represented down here by a little diamond. You can't see it, but you'll be able to see it in a second. So there you go, right down here. It's probably a little hard to see, but right. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that with all of them as well. So we're going to go ahead and give us opacity sliders for all of these so that we can edit them in time. So this is the very first frame of my animation, so I don't want all of these to be here. I only want that one there. So actually I probably would want to put like a line around these because it looks a little weird without the line. So let's go back and do that real quick for these. We're going to make a stroke, edit the stroke to be black. And then we're going to make the stroke width 1 so that it exists. And now let's make it 2. You can adjust these no matter what part of the animation that you're in, which is nice. So if you say, oh, that looks really bad, I need to change this whole thing, you can just very easily go back to any point of it and change those values. So that's pretty cool, like I'm doing here. And I should probably do that with all of them, but I'm not going to. If we have a little bit of time, I'll go back and correct it, but I don't know how much time this will take. I clocked myself doing this, I think at around 15 minutes, but I wasn't trying to explain everything. I was just doing it, so who knows? We'll see. And yes, if you're asking if this is an unscripted talk, it is. Thank you for noticing. Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to set that opacity to 0 for those other 2 layers. So we're going to go back and hit the transform. There's a shortcut key for doing this. I don't know what it is. I forget. It's okay. You could look it up if you'd like. There's actually a ton of resources out there for After Effects. So for any of you who are like, oh, what the hell is I talking about? There's actually probably a video for this one that's better composed than this talk is. But don't look it up yet. Look it up later. So anyway. So yeah, so we have changed the opacity of those 2 layers to 0 so that they don't appear, and we want them to appear in kind of like a staggered way, right? So that they kind of like indicate some kind of motion. So, so by setting up those keyframes so that they're at 0 at the very first frame, we can go ahead and move along our timeline to show a different point in time. Let's say 3 frames in, we're going to want that second arrow to be fully visible. So as I do that, that will fade in. Now if I play this back so you can see it, you can see that coming in. That's pretty quick. So maybe we'll adjust it around and play with it to see what it looks nice. So this will just loop forever. You can kind of get a preview that way. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other one. We're going to move a little bit further on, let's say 8 frames in, and we're going to make this 100% here. Now watch what happens when I do this. oh no, the arrow comes in at the same time. So one of the things you're going to have to do with staged animations like this is that you're going to have to add some extra keyframes to kind of keep things sane. In this particular case, I'm going to want to add a keyframe here for this one to also tell it to be at 0. There we go. And by doing that, it will prevent that arrow from coming back. So, boop, boop. Now it's staggered. There you go. Okay. And now we want this to loop in kind of like a clean way. And thankfully, CTCs are pretty easy to loop because that's it. That's pretty much really all you need to do is that. What we can do now is maybe we don't like the way that it comes in. Maybe we want to kind of like give this a pause between that. So we move these little keyframes around on our timeline here, and you can see, oh, my Discord is beeping. Who's beeping me? Please tell me it's not Angie. Nope, cool, thanks. Okay, so yeah, so we want to stagger these out a little bit so that the effect comes in at a little bit of a stagger, and that's good for now. So why don't we go back and correct those strokes since we have a couple seconds here. Give these all a nice stroke. I'm going to export this later so you guys can see it. So I'll leave that one all white, I think. Green is not really the color that I would choose for a CTC, but since that's what the default color was earlier, I think it's because I was working on money earlier. Maybe why that's doing that. So it would not be the one I will pick. I will share the output from one of my test ones as well, so you guys can see that later. But we're going to make this one white as well. Give that one a stroke width of 5 so that it comes in nice and pretty, or at least prettier. And there we go. And we got some motion. Cool. All right, so there we go. Now I mentioned a little bit earlier that we're going to try to do this, right? So this is one that I made before. There's you probably notice there's some different effects going on here. This is not just popping in. This is also glowing. It's shining. It's pretty nice. So After Effects comes with a lot of pre-built visual effects that you guys can apply to anything that you're working on. And it can do some pretty crazy stuff without you really needing to know a whole lot about it. So, I'm going to show you a couple of those since I have a little bit of time. I'm actually not sure how I'm doing on time because I'm not paying attention. Yay! All right. Let's see. So we're going to go over here, and actually you probably can't see it because my head's in the way, but I'm going to move out of the way for a second. There we go. So, yeah, so above Cherry's head here, there is an effects and presets section, and I'm going to look for glow. Except I'm going to type on the wrong window. Haha, yeah, glow, right? And one of the stylized effects that we have pre-built in here is glow. So we're going to go back to the composition that I was working on, which is this one, and we're going to apply a glow effect to it. So, and it's going to shine immediately. Yeah. So, and that's okay for this one. So we can also add keyframes to all of our effects as well. So whenever we add an effect to a layer, just like we did there, we can also add keyframes to all of those components that it just added to us. So let's say if I wanted to start out at 0 intensity, I don't want it to glow at all. I can do that. So I've added a keyframe to say, hey, this is 0. And let's say I want it to light up, but only when that other thing is fully in. So I've got a keyframe here at 4. I'm going to say, hey, I want it to be fully lit up at 4. So when that other one comes in, it will pop in. So, and that creates this effect. And now if I want to go ahead and add that effect to all of the other layers, I can do that. So I just got to drag the glow effect to those other layers. It adds a new layer effect. And I've got the same thing. I just repeat those steps. So we'll go ahead and adjust the layer here. We're going to go to glow intensity. We're going to add this. We're going to make it 0 at this frame. And when that new one comes in, what frame was that? Does anybody remember? I don't remember. Okay. I want to say, yeah, there it is. So there's our keyframe right there. It comes in at the 6th frame, so we're going to do it there. So we'll go back to our glow, and set the intensity from 0 to 1 at the 6th frame, and then boom, it'll glow. If we go back, hit space to preview, boop, 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 And then last step, we're just going to go ahead and do that to our last frame as well to replicate that effect. I'm not going to narrate this one because you guys saw it already. So, but yep, add that. We're going to go back to the effect. And on the last frame of this, we want, let's say, at the 12th frame. We want that one to glow like the sun on that frame. So we're going to make that 1 there. Go back to where it comes in and set that to 0. And every time you change these values while that timer is on, it will create a keyframe for you. So don't worry too much about that. Don't worry about setting them specifically like that. And if I press preview now, it should all kind of nicely come in and fade in and then start glowing. So now that isn't 1-for-1 for what I did earlier, but it's pretty close. So now that you have your CTC animation kind of done, you need to get this out to your project, right? So yeah, that's the next thing we're going to do. And this should be pretty quick. So after you've got something kind of going in After Effects, all you've got to do is go up to File, and then you want to look for Export, add your render queue. And I'm showing you this because this is probably one of the most important parts of it. Normally I wouldn't waste time with an export function, but this could be a little confusing. So After Effects is primarily a VFX and video application, but it can output raw frames, which is exactly what you need for RenPy and for other applications that do this sort of thing. So you can use video in RenPy, I'm aware of that, but I think you can. Someone will correct me, I'm sure. But anyway, most people are going to want to use frames, and that's fine. So what we're going to do to get this to come out the way we wanted it to, we're going to go to the output module, high quality, and we're going to click on that high quality to change it. In here, it's going to say format. You can export it as QuickTime, but what we really want is a PNG sequence. You guys know what PNGs are, right? I'm not going to cover that. Okay, so, and of course, we want to get the channels for RGB. We want channel RGB and alpha to give us that transparency so that we can use it in our text box. And we're going to use millions of colors. We don't have a lot of colors in there, so that's fine. And then we're going to hit OK. And that's most of it. So what this will do is that it will output to a folder that I have in my documents called this. And I'll show you the results of that in a second. So I will hit render now that this is done, and it will create those frames for me. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but it makes a really nice ding. So it's cool. All right, so let's go over to my folder system. It's here somewhere. Okay. Oh no, what did I name it? Here it is. Okay. And there's the frames. And now you can take these frames, maybe not ordered this way or named this way, but you can take these frames and then implement it into your engine of choice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, there's a lot of other things too that you could do with this stuff, and I didn't really get it. Didn't really show you because I just kind of jumped into it. I wasn't sure how much time I'd have, but you could do all kinds of things. So check this out. Let me go back to this. Hi, haha. So yeah, you can do emotes for your sprites. So like, nice little heart effect around my head like that. In fact, Cherry here was actually animated with this effect. Rather with After Effects using a push pen tool. You can take a sprite or other graphic that you have and use the push pen tool to animate it in little parts and export the frames. And I've got that here somewhere too. I don't know where, but here is the heart frames one right here. Now, this one's a lot of frames, so maybe don't put it like this in there, but yeah. So yeah, that's the majority of what I have to show you today. Do you guys have any questions?
All right, people, questions. A lot of people were like, this is a great chill talk. Watching After Effects happen live. All right, any questions, people?
How does she do what?
Yeah, just the general. Okay, here's a question.
This is an amazing question. I'll read it out. I know the talk focused on After Effects specifically since it's industry standard, but do you know of any cheaper alternatives? No, I do not. If anyone knows one, please tell me, because I will do something on that instead. It is very expensive. You're correct. Many of you have Photoshop or at least a similar program to it. There may be one out there, but I don't know of any that are quite as robust as After Effects. Most of them can't do the stuff that I did here, unfortunately, from my experience. So if you guys know of any, please let me know.
Yeah, some people are recommending Blender, Clip Studio, DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is probably close because it does video stuff, but I don't think it's like one-to-one feature-wise, so you'll have to play with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, do we have another question?
Some people are thinking about, yeah, Blender. Anime Effects is free if you want to do keyframe animation, so that's open tune.
Oh, will you stream sometime this year? You doing something like this again, like a loading screen simple? Yeah, actually, I've been doing a lot of this recently. I've been in the animation channel that we have here in Dev Talk. I will talk a little bit about the stuff that I'm doing. A lot of the emojis that we have that have animations on them, I did them using After Effects. So the cherry high emote, the burning stuff that Plum does, all of that was made with After Effects. So yeah, you can totally check out some of the stuff that I'm doing there. If yeah, if you need to have more examples of that, I've got plenty of stuff like that hanging around. Yeah, so yeah, I'll probably do more of that soon. So,
Cool.
Nai Ping Stream Pong, I don't know, maybe. Do you have particular websites you like to use for referencing other games UI when working like this? So I don't have a specific website that I go to for like researching UI stuff. If I'm talking about After Effects specifically, After Effects has such a massive community of creators out there already making videos to do all kinds of different examples. So yeah, there's tons of them out there. On YouTube is where I would suggest looking for like examples for how to do this kind of stuff. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people's out there doing that. For UI specifically, I don't know. I'm like I said earlier, I'm not really a UI artist. I'm just an anybody, you know. And the reason I'm doing this talk is because like, if I can do this, almost all of you can do this. My OBS is showing. Yeah, I know. It's fine. How much of my OBS is showing? I don't know how much of it's showing. So. What part of my OBS is showing? I actually don't know.
Like it's all over. It's like in the middle of your screen at this point.
Oh, is it? Ah, no. I thought it was, I actually don't know what it's showing. Where is it? Resume.
Alright, someone's asking, do you know any recommendations for good sites for royalty-free vectors pings, like an Unsplash but for vectors?
I don't offhand, off of my own. So yeah. I would love to have something like that for you guys, but unfortunately I do not have them off the top of my head. So you guys can check our resources channel. There's probably stuff out there for it. I don't do this sort of thing a lot. My main goal here was to show you guys a cool new tool and how you can make your own stuff with it. But the community itself has tons of resources like that. And I wish I knew what was being shared right now, so because I can't actually see my own stream. So yay!
Yep, someone recommended Freepik, freepik.com, to go check for resources there. Someone suggested this tool called Hit Film Express as their AE placement. Go check that out because I've never seen it before, so I don't know anything about it. Any other questions, guys? Hopefully everyone has gotten their pizza or delivery orders out, and then food will show up sometime, because we are going to then switch over to the lunch break, which is an hour where we just chill out. All the speakers can just open their mics and just talk about whatever it is that they want. And
I left something in the oven, so I better go. Okay, I gotta go. Bye bye.
all right.